Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking all about the new ad tier that's going to be coming to Disney Plus. We'll also be talking about D23. That's going to be the primary focus of today's episode. So let's just jump into it. So first off, let's talk. We did have the quarterly financial results this past week, where it's been a little bit of a quieter week, but they were kind of holding back a lot of information. They have now announced details of this new ad-supported tier, which is going to be launching in the United States on the 8th of December. The price for the ad-supported tier is going to be $7.99. It's just the same price that you're paying now, which is a little bit of an issue that we want to talk about. And also the premium tier, which doesn't include ad, which is what we're all on right now, is going to go up to $10.99, or you can take out an annual subscription for $109.99. So Disney are launching basically the basic and the premium tiers. If you are a monthly subscriber, you are going to get prompted in November to make a pick for your next billing date. That's because I did contact them and ask them a few questions. So in November, you'll be asked what you want to go on to from December. If you're an annual subscription, when yours expires, you will then obviously just renew at the new price. However, the price doesn't kick in to the 8th. So as long as you need to renew before the 7th of December, renew, and then you'll get a whole year on it. They're not messing about. I actually think it's better that they're doing. When they did the price rise back in February for the international one, they were doing all kinds of weird things like we're giving you 6 months notice and change. It was so complicated. And then like 18 months later, people couldn't work out why the price had changed so much. So this time they're being quite simple. And I actually think that's probably for the best in terms of just making things easier. So if you're going to renew before the 8th of December, do so. Especially, I know a lot of people that are on the Founders Circle. You've been a 3-year subscriber. Ends in November, so you want to renew then for another year. I'll be honest, the fact that you guys have had it for I think $3.50 a month, basically, is what it ended up costing. It's going to be a bit of a shock price going up, but you've had a really good deal. They're not going to offer another one like that.
Well, what's interesting about that is, of course, you don't think about it as a $350 or $350 per month deal, because you think about it as the lump sum payment that you paid way back 3 years. Well, I paid way back 3 years ago, and so I'm not even like, oh, this isn't part of my monthly budget at all.
Yeah.
And
no,
well, I will probably just get the annual, obviously, but it's a bit of a shock to start paying for something, let alone what the price difference will be. But I mean, $350 a month, it definitely paid for itself many times over for me. That's you watch one movie a month and it's already, less than half the price of a movie ticket.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest, the price point, it was never going to stay at like $6.99, $7.99 indefinitely. They need to make money because they are losing billions on this every month, or every quarter they're losing money. They want to get fully, basically Disney Plus needs to be profitable by 2024. That's what they've said they're going to do. The ad tier is really going to help bring them up, and also the amount of subscribers they're going to have. They are planning on hitting between now 215 million and 245 million subscribers globally by 2024. They have reduced the target by about 15 million, primarily due to the issue going on with Hotstar with the Indian rights for the cricket. So that's why they brought it down. I'm going to be honest, the price was a little bit higher than I was expecting. Probably I would maybe thinking for the ad tier maybe $5.99, maybe $6.99. Was not expecting $7.99, because essentially now it's not even a price drop. You're literally staying at the same price and getting ads, and it's like, well, that's a bit of that's not a very nice kind of, you're not saving money. Most people are like, well, I'm not saving money, I'm just getting ads now.
Yeah, no, that was very surprising, and it makes me think that they're actually losing more money on their subscriptions than they were originally indicating they were. But yeah, from a consumer perspective, going, it's the same price, but it's ads, and here's the $3 increase if you don't want ads, is a lot to swallow. Because part of the point of the ad tier from a consumer perspective is for me to get the content for less than I would have been paying otherwise, and enduring the annoyance of ads. But now you're paying the same. And yeah, it's a lot. And considering they did not also simultaneously announce, yes, tons and tons of content. They did announce some content. They did start, we'll get to it, but they did start saying, yes, some content will be coming over, but it's not like when
It was very vague.
It was very vague. But it was not like when they announced, okay, we're increasing the price of Disney Plus, but look at this giant catalog that's getting added to what you already have. And they could still do that. This between now and December. And, there's a little convention called D23 coming up where they like to announce things. But yeah, to have the price increase without the content increase is a very hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. And I can understand why a lot of people are annoyed by this.
Oh, I've got no. I completely understand why people are annoyed. I was like, oof, I was expecting them to do this. I knew this. I guess this was going to happen. The price was, I would probably say, maybe $1 more on each platform than I was expecting. I was thinking like $6.99 might be where they kind of go, but but no, it's, and I do think you're right. Not giving like the big boost of premium content. I don't know whether or not they'll announce that maybe in November when like a couple of weeks away from the actual thing coming in. That might be a way of kind of holding off on that information. I do think they really need to drastically ramp up that what they call premium general entertainment content, get some more stuff on there. I mean, they added like the Father and the Bride movies, but it's not really that big a deal.
No, and the Orville came on last week, which, I mean, it's not good. Huge. It's not Star Trek, but it's 3 solid seasons of stuff that you don't typically associate with Disney, and you can see them kind of trickling in. More. I mean,
it's like now. It's like they need to start like dripping in general entertainment weekly. Something at least weekly, maybe a movie on a Friday and a series, just to kind of. I know they're probably holding off until this ad tier comes in, but it's like it does feel a little bit like, well, yeah, guys, you said you were putting in like general entertainment like November, December last year, and you've really, in all honesty, barely put in a handful. We'd probably be hard pressed to count to 10 things. Like, well, that's the Marvel side. Right. And we're like, Love Victor, Orville, Blackish, Grownish. That's about it. There's not a huge.
You said Love Victor. So and the important thing is, if they are going to add the content, I do think they need to be adding it regularly over time. You already said this, but to expand on that, when we get to December and the price increase, people need to have that, they've been adding things to it. I can turn on Disney Plus and find new things, or at least new things to Disney Plus, and I have things to watch. Whereas you get to December 8th, they're like, we added a whole bunch of stuff, but you're sitting there going, you know what? The Mandalorian's not out. Yeah, there isn't currently any major things coming out. The Orville's there, sure, but I already watched that, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
If they have that consistent drop up between now and December, then they can at least go, look, we've been adding things. We've been adding. Look at our constant content.
Well, this is it really now for like internationally. Expect a price rise to come in next year. They haven't announced it. We are getting an ads tier as well internationally next year, so I suspect they will pull the same stunt. But it's going to be harder in some ways, because it'll be like, well, we can't give you any more because you've already pretty much got everything. Right. So it will be coming later to us. I mean, I personally will be on an ad-free version because I watch enough Disney Plus that it's worth it to me. But when Netflix brings in their ad tier, it depends really on what my wife says. If she does it, because she watches, it's that kind of thing. She watches a lot more Netflix than I do. I probably barely watch it once or twice a week, whereas she watches it daily. Whereas I could easily cut that and go like, actually, to be honest, I could probably cut it full stop because there's not enough on there now for me to watch. But other platforms, and I think people are going to have to make that choice of, if you want Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus, well, if you have the ad version of all of them, you can save some money. Or you go, well, that's the main one I watch, I'll have ad free, but the other ones I'll have ad. You are going to be able to bring down your monthly subscription. Obviously, going into recession, I was surprised with the current situation of what's going on, but also every business is putting prices up, and I've seen Disney getting a lot of stick, not just for the Disney Plus, but a lot of it in the parks and everything going on. The prices, it's like everywhere I go, the price of everything is going up. Inflation is really high on it. So it's like, well, you can't blame just this. It's like every business is, because everything is going up, and it is, and unfortunately, because I know when I used to have a cafe, it's like, well, it wasn't just a case of like, if it's say if a 5% rise come in, it was then, it wasn't hitting the drivers, it was then hitting this, it was hitting that, it was hitting all the people in between, and so the prices continues to build up throughout the entire chain. So that's what's going to happen with TV. It's not just us, people paying for it, it's the people making it, even down to like the carpenter making the sets, or everything goes up, and so the prices are going up.
Yeah, and it's across the board, and it's a global problem at the moment. We do tend to focus on the things that we use daily in life, so we're noticing the price in food increases. We're noticing the price
energy costs over here.
I was just about to say crazy. Energy, heating or cooling, and then the things that entertain us, Netflix and Disney, and what we use to keep ourselves distracted from the price increases. And so, yeah, Disney gets a lot of it because Disney is supposed to be our escape from reality, our escape from the troubles of the day to day. And now we're going, your prices are going up. I can't afford tickets to go to the parks. I can't afford to go to the Disney store, or whatever's going to replace the Disney store, and so on. It's problematic. So, like, on the corporate side, we can understand. Yeah, they've got to make money. They've got to show profits. All these shows cost money to make, and if they're not making money, then we don't get Mandalorian, we don't get Andor and She-Hulk and so on. But at the same time, from the consumer side, it's like, I need to be able to afford it so I can watch it.
Yeah, I do think so. This is one of the issues I think, especially like being on Disney Plus internationally, is there's so much more content dropping, which in some ways you're like, I don't know if it's like, between all of their different platforms, with FX, National Geographic, Disney, Hulu, they are producing a lot of content. And because it's so spread out, you're not noticing where it is. But if you're starting to look at like internationally, and you're going, hold on a minute, you're picking up like American Dad, Family Guy, The Great North, you're putting up Solar Opposites, you're putting up High School Musical, you're putting up the Bear, you're putting up Maggie, you're putting up Only Murders in the Building, you're going to be putting up She-Hulk. And I mean, this is just like this month alone.
Yeah.
You got The Patient coming in. We've also got some, we've got Welcome to Wrexham. We got all the, it's like, well, we're getting maybe 10 to 15 shows a week. So suddenly then, this whole thing of like, there's only one show on a week. It's like, well, no, actually, when you spread it across everything, there is a lot. And I feel like when Disney eventually get to that point of having a merge system, I do think they're going to start cutting down on what they're making.
Yes. As long as, cutting down on what they're making leaves the quality of the ones that they continue to make up, it's okay. There are plenty of shows that have happened over the last year, 2 years, or just like, if it had never come out, I would never know what I'm missing in my life, because honestly, I wouldn't be missing anything. Every show is somebody's favorite. So I don't want to take that away from, people who actually enjoy those shows. But Disney does have to go by the numbers. They have to go by the ones that draw in the people, which specifically bring in new subscribers, which is the most important number for streaming companies. But yes, if you remove half the shows, but then you also cut the quality of Mandalorian and those shows, then you start having a problem. And this is actually kind of what Netflix is facing at the moment too, with them having to cancel a lot of things, and they have a very negative look at the moment, even though they are still getting very good shows on there, like Stranger Things and Sandman's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So they're still bringing in these quality stuff, but there is general grumblings going on over on their side.
Yeah, I think recently at the TCA, the FX chief said we've just hit the peak of peak TV. That's gone. It's like, while all the streaming companies were scratching around trying to get subscribers, they were all putting, you are going to see a reduction on all of the platforms of how much stuff they're putting out, and more of a like what Warner Brothers are going to be doing is spreading stuff out and sharing it. I think we're going to see a lot of that moving on with Disney. So just a quick other thing with the pricing. The Disney bundle prices are all going to be going up because ESPN is going up at the end of this month. Hulu's going up as well in October. The only thing really is that if you're on the premium Disney bundle, it's going to be like $19.99, which is the no ad version of Hulu and Disney Plus. There is quite good now. You can now get the basic with ads for both Disney Plus and Hulu for $9.99, which I thought was not, that's not a. I mean, that's like
not a bad price.
Well, it's only like $2 for a month for Hulu.
Yeah. So the one last thing I wanted to mention on this is part of what's going to affect this is how intrusive the ads are and how many ads there are, which we don't know yet. But if
4 minutes per hour.
Right.
Preschool content will not have it on at launch. Children's profiles won't have them on at launch. I say at launch because they will add them at later date. Yeah, and apparently it's got a lighter ad load than Hulu. Because I know there's been a lot of complaints of people they're being a little bit too much on Hulu. But generally 4 minutes per hour is what they're going to be putting it in.
Which isn't terrible by broadcast standards. Normally a 30-minute show in America has 22 minutes of content and 8 minutes of ads. So you're getting half the number of ads for twice the amount of content. But it also depends on where the ads are. They going to start at the beginning? Are they going to be inserted into the middle? I presume they will be inserted into ad break spots in the middle, but we will have to wait and see. Because if they're not that intrusive, then it's not that bad and it's easier to pitch people on the ad tier. But if it's like, nope, every 15 minutes you will have a minute of ads in your hour-long movie or show, it gets irritating pretty quickly. And that'll be what decides whether the ad tier is worth it.
The key thing is with the ad tier is essentially they make more money per person on the ad tier than they do on a person without ads. And also they have said, and they said this in the quarterly results, they've got more subscribers on the ad version than on the ad-free version, and that's what they are expecting to happen. The only thing is now, as I do look at Disney Plus, they're not going to be able to grab a load of extra people unless they do some big deal on Disney Plus Day or around the launch of the ad tier where they go, you can get it limited time, only $4.99 a month or something like that, just to kind of grab a big audience in the winter.
We'll have to wait and see if they're going to do any promos, because the promos aren't really in their best interest anymore. Back when it first launched, it was because we didn't know what we were getting. Was it going to be worth $5 a month? Would it be worth $8 a month? $3.50 a month? But now we know what kind of content on it. We have an idea of what kind of content is coming. You can kind of better guess for your household, is it worth me paying this amount, or what is the amount that I should pay?
I think it's going to depend on how much money they make per person on the ads, because that's when like when Hulu does like its Black Friday or its student deal where it's like $1 or $2 a month, it's because they're still making $6-7 out of you on ads. That's where they're making it up. Yes, it's going to be interesting how all this works on Disney, or even the Disney the live version as well is going to be going up in price. So if you want the premium version with no ads of everything, it's now going to be $82.99. If you want all of that. I don't quite know what you're paying for to get what's worth $82.99 for television, but because it does seem a lot. But yeah, so that's all in there. Also, Disney did now hit 152.1 million subscribers as of the beginning of July. That was up 14 million because basically the launch across Middle East, North Africa, and Eastern Europe. So it gave them a nice big boost. And also, for the first time now, the international division of Disney Plus, excluding Hotstar, is now bigger than the domestic, the US and Canada. It's actually now a bigger market. And obviously, Disney Plus Hotstar still makes up a massive proportion, but they make so much less money on that one. You're really starting to see now Wall Street and stuff is really, it's shifting its tone. The concept of just having subscribers is no longer the goal anymore. It's about making money. They want you to make. They want, we're going to get more and more subscribers. Well, Netflix hitting the top end of the market has now changed. It's just changed everything. All the streamers are all making big shifts. That's why we're getting all these ad tiers. Why there is a bit of a pushback to theatrical. They're very much now just going to be looking. I think like linear, they know is going, and they're shifting everything to streaming. But you can see them slowly doing it. The idea of Hulu merging in with Disney Plus, the fact that they put out all these prices and stuff at the minute to me says it's still a while off. It still feels a while off, but it's funny. I've just been hearing more and more of like bigger outlets and stuff now talking more about like a potential. I think, you know, with what Warner Brothers are doing, what Paramount are doing, everyone's consolidating, and I think everyone's looking at going, yeah, Disney Plus is going to have to do the same. Hopefully, they don't do it with ESPN because that would put the price ridiculously priced. But yeah, you're definitely seeing a shift.
Well, and I think Disney would have done it anyway already, except they've got a third of their hand tied back on combining the content in the States. It is not Disney's choice that they are fragmented across Disney Plus and Hulu at the moment. It's basically the other way to say it.
Right, so that's all the business side of things. Let's now we're going to be doing a little bit of discussion before we go into the D23 topic. There was a trailer for a new series called Wedding Season, which is going to be coming to Disney Plus around the world on Disney Plus Day on the 8th of September. We're going to Hulu in the United States and Star Plus in Latin America. It's a British series. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of fun. You know, just kind of a wedding going on, and there's been loads of murders, and it's more mature. You know, it's a fact. I'm just loving the fact that we've got a British series. This is our first one. I love the fact as well that the British went, yes, sod. You know, we're not doing it. We know we're doing it. We're doing a Star Wars. We're doing a proper series. We're not and I liking the idea of it. I thought the trailer looked pretty fun.
I like the idea of it. The trailer didn't really give enough for me to get in on it. I think they'll drop another trailer obviously as it gets closer to launch, and we'll learn a little bit more about it. I will say it's not a bad trailer. I think it's more of a personal opinion kind of thing where I'm like, especially since I watched this trailer after some of the other ones that had dropped, it didn't quite click with me. We'll talk about those in a second.
Yes, so we had The Menu, which is going to be coming to cinemas in November. This one is basically Ralph Fiennes has a restaurant, and there's kind of a Hunger Games like eating. I don't know quite what's happening in this one. It's like, is it Hunger Games meets Fresh? I don't quite work out what's going on with this one.
Not entirely sure, but I will say that the trailer was really, really well done. I'm very intrigued by this one. I was thinking less Hunger Games and more of one of those movies where it turns out that all of the guests are somehow interconnected in some like crazy conspiracy criminal enterprise, but they don't know it. And then Ralph Fiennes, or one of the chefs that he's working with, is like the person who's been wronged and getting there. But then they also drop the line of like, well, this is what you paid for. This is the game. And then you can also go, well, maybe it's like the movie called The Game with Michael Douglas from back in the day, which is a real mind bender of what's real and what's not.
No, this one looks really intriguing. There's quite a few like really interesting films coming out from like Searchlight and 20th over the next coming weeks. We've got See How They Run, and we also got the trailer for the Banshees of Inisherin. I don't quite know if that's, I know I've probably mispronounced that one. So that's coming out in like October time, and that's got it's basically set in Ireland, and that just looks really weird. Like two like friends or brothers just arguing over not wanting to talk to each other. It looks a bit funky. It's the kind of thing I will wait for Disney Plus. I won't be.
It's by the same person who did In Bruges, which has a bit of a cult following, and also the same two actors. And very dark comedy, very random WTF comedy. Could be really good, could be not good. The trailer was definitely intriguing. I'll give it that. In Bruges did not click with me, so I'm not super excited, but I know it did with a lot of people.
Yeah, for me now, it's just like the like Searchlight and 20th Century are really delivering some interesting films that are a little bit more quirky, a little bit more indie, and I like that about it. It's very refreshing when you get this kind of stuff dropping in. So yeah, they're not for everybody, but they don't have to hit as big to be a success. But yeah, so I think The Menu is the one that's kind of jumped out at people. But I also like that the other one I mentioned for September. That one looks quite good. Was like a cop drama kind of who did it kind of thing.
Right. I'm waiting to see what when we get a little closer to that one. But it's got potential, and obviously I'll be checking it out anyway because talking about it.
Right. Okay. So before we go into the D23 stuff, I just want to give a quick shout out and hello to all of our Patreon and YouTube channel members. You can become a member from as little as $2 a month. You help support the channel, paying for all the software that we use, all the bits and pieces that we need, all our energy costs, things like that. So big thank you to David, Charlotte, Mahmoud, Raphael, Adam, Dana, Ricky, Dave, My VCR Still Works, Bina, Joshua, Dawn, Martin, Jeremy, and Sarah. Also, big hello to Babbitt. We've also got Paul, Daniel, Elliot, Aero, Caleb, Red Marsman, Cody, Chris, Jacob, Darren, Lauren, The Juice, and Andrew. And also a big thank you to Sarah for your continued support. Right. Okay. So we're going to do this. We're going to talk now about what's going on at D23. And then we'll kind of go through with some predictions. I think we might do the predictions as we're going through the schedule for some of the bigger panels, because I think that might be the easiest way of doing it. So up first, Disney announced yesterday evening for me that some of the details of what's coming from the Disney Plus side of things and Hulu for Disney Plus. So we're going to be having there's going to be a Disney Bundle Pavilion that you're going to find in the middle of the area. There's going to be a couple of unique installations with like with displays, and there's going to be a Hulu section. That's in addition to all of the ABC activations that were announced recently. So there's going to be lots of stuff to do on the floor, lots of photo opportunities. There's going to be a big ESPN area. So that's all going to be very interesting. It'll be like if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you're going to be able to pick up a pass, and then you can go around collecting cards or some kind of like collectible thing. Probably just to make you go around. So we'll have a look at that one there. We'll probably find out a little bit more nearer the time. Saying it's only 3 weeks, literally 3 weeks away now. There's also going to be a stage at the Disney Bundle Pavilion. So there's going to be presentations from Pixar to the Edge of the Unknown. We also have history of the Cars road trip one. There's going to be a Hulu dance party each evening. I don't know quite what that's going to be. There's going to be a look at Solar Opposites. There's also going to be some things of Encanto. The actual main stage seems quite light. They're not really going heavy in on promoting too much of the stuff, but that's just in that pavilion. They've also announced there's going to be stage presentations as well. That's going to include The Simpsons. We're going to have a special screening of The Epic Adventures with Bertie Gregory, which I feel is a bit unnecessary because it would have been released on Disney Plus the day before. So I'll be honest, I don't quite know why you'd want to go in and sit there and watch it when you can watch it at home, or even in your hotel room. There's also going to be on the Saturday a showcase. We'll get into the showcases later. There's going to be a special screening of Limitless with Chris Hemsworth. A quick note: he is not going to be there. They have stated that in the thing. There's also going to be a special presentation of the Santa Clauses, a conversation with the cast and creators, which I'm going to be honest, that's one that I quite like in the look of. And then at the exact same time, and I can't believe they've done this, is then Zootopia Plus is being in one of them. So I've got to pick between those two which one I want to see more. It depends what the random selection process which they launch will give.
I have to admit, Zootopia is far more appealing to me, although I did like the original Santa Claus movie quite a bit.
Yeah, that's one. Also, then on September the 11th, there's going to be a special sneak peek of the Mickey's Story of the Mouse film. That's going to be coming later to Disney Plus. Plus, there's a special cast and creators of the Proud Family, plus Dancing with the Stars, a celebration which is going to have like Tyra Banks there. That's on my list, the ones I'm going to be trying to get in on as well. See if I can get in on the selection. There's also going to be the Disney Plus Innovation Lounge, which is presented by IMAX, which is going to have an interactive dedicated space. There's going to be special collectible cards, as I said, that you can collect. So that's kind of like... it's essentially, we're going to have a couple of different areas to go and walk around, some booths and stuff. There's going to be some special interactions to take some photographs with, which is all good. We're going to have that main stage where they're going to kind of looks like they're going to have stuff on throughout the day, but maybe some surprise stuff. But I'll be honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed with the main pavilion. It didn't look quite as interesting as it did on when compared to the 2019 version.
It does feel like they really wanted to scale it back and make it so that there were a few very important stages and then not much else on that. But yeah, I remember looking through the schedule at the beginning and being like, actually, it's not going to be too hard for me to figure out which ones I want to sign up for because there aren't that many of them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so those were all like the side ones were a little bit, and also as well as they're a little bit like they're all going on at the exact same time as the big ones. So it's like if you can't get into the main presentations, they're on at the same time, which is good. But it was a little bit like, oh, okay, well, you can't, like for me, I was like, well, I can't go to nearly half at 3/4 of this stuff I can't make. But it was like, okay, we got a nice selection here. There's not as much as I was expecting, but there's a lot of, the schedule is pretty packed, and I think they'll be adding a few more bits and pieces as they go along, because there's some big gaps on the stages. And you're like, well, shouldn't there be something quite there? Maybe they're going to start putting in like some video games and the books and all the rest of it might start filling it out a little bit. But what sort of shows have you kind of picked out from the Disney Plus side that you're interested in going to?
Well, the one I already mentioned, of course, is Zootopia. I do want to go see that one. If the Santa Claus was at a different time, I would go and see that. But between the two, Zootopia is, for me, a clear winner. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Simpsons panel. Honestly, in terms of the content, there wasn't that much yet announced. I was hoping for a couple more preview things, like maybe an Andor stage or something like, not a stage, but a show.
I get what you're saying, but also as well as I'm a bit like torn on it, because on one hand it's like you want to see stuff that's coming out soon, but also like it seemed a little bit like, well, what we're having a lot of stuff that's already out or just about to drop, which is maybe not quite as, it was a bit like limitless presentation. I thought that was quite a good idea, but Bertie Gregory is like, I know this has just come out, but seems a bit unnecessary to have a presentation of a series that's available on Disney Plus when this comes out. I think the Mickey Mouse documentary that could be interesting to go to. But yeah, so the overall, I'm quite interested to see just how all this stage and all the presentations and just walk and the activations with all the general entertainment stuff as well of all these photos. It's like that's quite a bit on the floor that I actually kind of want to take a look at. I
think the general area sounds like it's going to be a lot more interesting overall, and of course there's a lot more variety, and there will be queues. There are always queues, but you'll be able to go and do the things you want to do rather than having to go by the app and says, nope, you can't go to the main hall for the the Disney animation panel because you didn't get selected for it. Now you can, if you're willing to wait a little bit, you can go and do the merch booth, or you can go to the Disney Plus Pavilion, or you can do any of these things. And of course, that's also where all the vendors are and where all the food is and all that as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we know we're going to be there. So I think we've got to put in our selections this coming week for Monday. We've got all week to put in your selections of what you want to go. You can only pick like one thing per day per time slot. And then the random selection is then going to give to you what you can go to, which I think is probably the best way of, especially because it's just, they don't want people queuing outside the doors like they did for San Diego Comic-Con overnight. I know there's a lot of people, that's what I'm going to do. It's like, it depends how many seats they give out. There might only be 100, 200 seats available. That, and if everybody turns up, you might not even get in. It's not, this whole thing of doing the random selection system is a bit like, okay, but I don't know if every single stage is going to sell out, or there's going to be a lot of, people might be picking stuff to go to, like, the Bertie Gregory one, you might be able to just walk in on because not enough people have booked it. There's going to be ones that are more popular than others. Like they announced like a Muppets Christmas Carol one. It's far away from my mind as Christmas can be.
I would have preferred like them doing the Muppets Haunted Mansion or something from last year or something along those lines.
I'm surprised they're not doing something for like Hocus Pocus or Disenchanted or something like that. I mean, maybe that comes up in the studios panel, but I would have expected a little bit more like that rather than like the Christmas.
But that's what I was talking about. Like, get some previews going, get some advanced, because that's one of the main draws for a lot of conventions is what's coming next, what is coming out within the next year. That's why like the Marvel panel at San Diego is so popular, or the DC movie panel, things like that. And the fact that there really aren't that many of them is kind of surprising to me. I suspect that a lot of these will be in the pavilion that you can walk through. They'll have a Hocus Pocus little section, and maybe there'll be a prop or two from the show, and there'll be a trailer that's running on loop, driving the booth attendees and volunteers nuts. And you walk through and you see those things, and there's not enough for us to talk about with these.
Yeah, I mean the way they've got their schedule set up. I mean they've got like 5 stages plus the Disney Pavilion stage as
But
well. It's like
but
that
look
there.
how
I mean,
empty it is.
yeah, there's a whole chunk here to be filled in. I know they're going to have some video game stuff, but there's got to be some more panels because there's a there's not a lot happening.
Well,
See that one there looks like that's packed because they've got an hour between each one to kind of get people in and out. But some of them look a little bit more like busier than others.
They need to announce those before Monday because people are going to be annoyed if they put in their selections next week and then more things are added to it. It's like, wait, if this had been available, I would have gone to this instead of this other thing. I only put that in because it was to fill time. So we'll see if between the time of recording, we're on the 13th here, and the 15th when the registrations open up, they add some more into that giant block there. But they might not.
Now there's some places where it looks like there is some space to kind of fill in. I mean, some of the stages look, I mean, that to me looks fine. They filled that up. You need spaces, but the premiere stage definitely feels a little bit lighter, especially on that Friday. Maybe we're going to get some games. I know they said there's going to be some game stuff. Hopefully we get an announcement on the Friday. Well, let's now look at the main presentations. So we've got the Disney Legends Awards ceremony taking place on the Friday morning, kind of kicking off the event. Kind of changed a little bit. It was kind of like kicking off the Disney 100th, but it's kind of definitely shifted now into a Legends presentation. This will be live streamed. This one has been confirmed that this is definitely going to be live streamed. We don't yet know who the Legends are. That's going to make a big impact.
Yeah, we never know until like right before who the Legends are going to be. And it makes sense that this is going to be one of the live streamed ones. This is, in terms of like attendance, it's normally not the biggest draw because we're looking back. We're looking at people who made a big influence on Disney back in the day, and back in the day is now including times when we were growing up. So there are legends that influence movies that we directly grew up with and such. So it's a fascinating performance, but they're not making announcements during this, which is why it tends to kind of slide under the radar. That said, if you are up at the time when this goes off, I think all these times are PST. It's going to be an interesting one to watch, and it's a nice little trip through. How did some of your favorite movies and shows come to be?
Yeah, so that one. So I'm going to be lucky enough the fact that I have a ticket where I can go to all of the main presentations. So that's for me.
That was
the preferred state. It was available, so I went for it, and this was like a year ago or whatever it came out, and so I went for it. So I know, for me personally, all the ones in the Hall D23 I'm going to be going to, and that's kind of in some way completely dominated my schedule. It has now, like, and obviously I'm paying a lot more to go to do it, so it kind of was like, for me, it's like I kind of know my schedule a little bit because I know what I'm doing with all of these ones. So it's and it's just talking to a lot of people that are going and stuff of like it's all very like up in the air of how this whole system goes. But in some ways the schedule is like all the stuff that's on the other panels. I was like, I really can't go to most of these. It's for me that it was like, okay, I'm not going to make nearly 90% of these panels for the Disney Plus stuff because I'm literally not going to have. They're on against it, so it was a little bit of a like, oh, there's all these panels. Like there's literally only I think 2 I can get to, and even that might be only one of them I think have actually got a legitimate shot of knowing I can get to, and that's the Dancing with the Stars one. And it was like, so it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely changed my my schedule around a little bit.
Right, but these are going to be the very important ones. These are where the major announcements are going to be. I will probably be. I'll be putting down for like 2 of them, and we'll get to them if we're going to look at that schedule. But I'm expecting I will not be at most of the big hall ones. I did not, because you had to be a D23 member, and then you also had to buy like the Wizard, whatever they called it this year, Sorcerer's Package. Which even with that extra cost, it sold out in like 20 minutes. I think
it was minutes. It was gone.
Yeah.
I was just lucky that it was there, and it was that thing of that whole extra year delay I'd been saving every month.
Mhm.
So it was like, okay, well, there we go. The next thing is going to be the big one on the Friday afternoon is the Studio Showcase, which is going to be featuring stuff from Walt Disney Animation Studios, Pixar Studios, plus also the Walt Disney Studios. So the ones behind like Cinderella. So this is going on for 2 hours. We do know as well they are not letting us use any photography. So this will not be live streamed. They'll probably put some clips up, but this one if they're not letting us take cameras in, I can't see how they're going to let us do anything.
Stream it, right?
So yeah,
I mean, they might stream parts of it and cut out the trailers or the major announcements. They've done that in the past, where you can listen to them talking about it, and then they'll go, "Here's our preview of Frozen 2," and if you're on the stream, you just get a black screen or a little like waiting message.
I'm going to guess at the minute that it will probably be the Legends and the theme park ones will be the live stream ones. Maybe Disney branded television. There's a maybe a chance of them. But at the minute, we only know about the Legends one. But yeah, so we got the animation showcase. So we think we know we're going to see Strange World. We're going to see Elemental, which is the new film.
The Pixar film, right?
Yes. I'm also, it's like, whether or not we see anything of the new Win or Lose Disney Plus series.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Wagyu, that new African series that they've been creating. I'm just trying to think what else we've got coming. Oh, Little Mermaid. I would not be at all. We're going to get our first look at Little Mermaid. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that's when the trailer breaks for Little Mermaid, or a poster or something will drop for the Little
sizzle reel, maybe a behind the scenes. They've done that in the past. Like up until this last year, whenever Andor was mentioned, we get a sizzle reel with people talking about, oh, it's been great to work on this, and we got these people back, and here's like 3 seconds of behind the scene footage. That might be what I would expect from, like, say, Little Mermaid.
Maybe the Haunted Mansion as well. The Haunted Mansion that's coming out. I'm just going to bring up Walt Disney Studios schedule, actually, because it always usually give you a little bit of an idea of what's coming up. Also, they'll be showing off stuff from Disney Plus, so maybe Hocus Pocus. I think Disenchanted, probably a good chance of seeing a trailer for Disenchanted. Would be very high chance there.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus is going to be one of the big ones. And somehow the original Hocus Pocus is still very much a cult classic. So a lot of people will be interested in seeing Hocus Pocus too. Again, worth keeping in mind, as opposed to San Diego, D23, of course, is for Disney fans. It's in the name. So they will expect that most of the people there will already have heard of these shows. So it's not like, oh, yes, we have Hocus Pocus 2. You probably haven't heard about that, because almost everyone there will have heard about it. Whereas if you were presenting this at San Diego, people are like, oh, wait, you're doing Hocus Pocus 2? We didn't realize you were doing that. So the presentation will be tailored for the audience expectations. And with that in mind, in addition to the trailers, I think we can expect some roadmap images as well. They obviously won't have trailers. They might be, this is still under production kind of things. So I remember when I went in, I guess, I can't remember if it was 17 or 19, they announced the Cars spinoff, not planes, but like
Space
flight.
Or something.
Something like that. And it was an SR-71 Blackbird, and then it had, the car's eyes in the windows, which has subsequently been canceled.
Yeah.
But that's where we found out about that one in the first place. So things like that are what we can expect to be announced.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the release. Peter Pan and Wendy. That's very likely we could see a trailer or some clip from that one there.
Because we can't go more than a year without a Peter Pan related movie. Apparently, these days.
Chan Can Dunk, which is a new. I know they've been filming that one for Disney Plus. So that one's coming out next year. So that could be likely. In terms of maybe Crater as well, because that one we haven't heard much about that one for a while. But also they'll probably confirm some of the movies that there's. It's kind of, this is where sometimes, if you're listening to this podcast or if you visit the website, you're probably going to know all about some of this stuff when they go, we're going to announce this, and I'll be sitting there going, well, I've known that for 7 months.
and again, most of the people there will probably be in the same boat of like, yeah, we know. Thanks for confirming what we are.
Or we go, a logo.
Oh, that is the thing about
the Marvel trick.
Hey, it works though, and they'll go up there and they'll be like, Cinderella 5. She's now the step grandmother or something like that, and people, having been burned by all the other Cinderellas, will still go, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever, just because that's the atmosphere at these kind of things.
Yeah. So, any other predictions you think we're going to see for that one? It's 2 hours long, so they're going to have to show us quite a bit.
They might end up breaking out like if some of the shows have musical elements to it, they might do a musical presentation, like preview one of the songs or things on that matter. But I think you covered the majority of them, and I think the timeline for the next several years, even if they're not showing details about them, will be a big part of it. So now let's talk about the one that I am going to try to get into, but probably won't be able to.
This is, I'm not going to lie, this is the number one that I want to go, that I'm looking forward to. This is the Studio Showcase Day 2, which is from Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, and 20th Century Studios. They've now at least acknowledged that 20th Century are in there as well. A 2-hour presentation. We don't yet know if this will be live streamed. But yes, so expect this one's going to be the one that I think most people are going to want to try and get in on. I think this is really the hardest to get in on.
Absolutely.
Because I think they can only fit like 6,000 people in that hall. Obviously, you've got the preferred seating people. You're going to have, press generally don't tend to get a bit of extra space for it, but maybe you're looking at maybe 5,500 people, and we don't know how many tickets are sold. Could be north of 100,000.
Yeah. So this is the one where if you were allowed to camp out outside, people would be lining up on Friday morning, not let alone Friday night into Saturday morning. This is the one that people will be waiting for. I would not be doing that, but it's insane how long people will wait for these. That said, I will obviously be putting my name into the registration pile. I don't have preferred access. Even if it had been available by the time I logged in, I wasn't going to get that. I don't expect I'm going to get it, but man, fingers crossed just in case.
Yeah, so in terms of, let's start off with Lucasfilm. I'm expecting now with Andor being shifted back, that probably we're going to see the cast and a clip or something to hype up Andor, because it's only going to be literally like 2 weeks away from release, which would make sense. I mean, it's too close for them not to do it. Also, Willow as well is dropping from Lucasfilm there, and maybe I don't know about, they might do something for Bad Batch, but it's generally more they might give a date or something to confirm it.
They'll mention.
I mean, even though they've kind of already put it out on Disney Plus and then quickly deleted it, but
yeah, no, they'll confirm the date at the very least, I think, but we will at least hear about Bad Batch, and they might even, depending on how their internal reactions go, there's going to be a season 3. We'll confirm a season 3. That's not that uncommon these days for the major properties. But that doesn't mean that is 100% going to happen.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be at all surprised if we get a little bit of an update on Mandalorian and Ahsoka for next year. Maybe a little clip. I mean, they sort of showed a little bit of Mandalorian at was it at Star Wars Celebration?
I was going to say it was Celebration. I would expect this is where the sizzle reel will pop in, especially if they mention Ahsoka, and just have people talking about what they're expecting, because we know, or at least suspect, some of the characters that are going to be in there, and maybe we'll hear some casting choices for some of those, even the ones we already know but haven't had confirmed yet.
Maybe the Acolyte as well. We're getting a bit of an update on that one, probably, maybe with some casting or a little bit of an idea of what the story is about. Maybe the Rogue Squadron and the Taika Waititi movie, what's going on with them? Give them maybe an update on what's happening with them. I'm not generally expecting a lot of big announcements from Lucasfilm. I mean, we've got Indiana Jones as well. Probably we could see the first clip of that film. But it's like anything new into 2024. I mean, generally the D23 does cover like a 2-year period. They might give us a hint of what's coming in 2024, but I feel like we're kind of in a place now because of that Investor Day 2 years ago where they announced way too much in advance. It's kind of almost like catch up, because it's like, here's 7 shows coming, and 2 years later you're like, we've got one of them.
I think that the Star Wars movies will probably get a bit of an emphasis. You mentioned Rogue Squadron. I don't know if Taika's movie will, but considering it's now been a while since Rise of Skywalker came out, they might be finally back in the stage where we've looked at things, we've retooled, we've refocused. Here are our starting plans for the next set of movies. Rogue Squadron, obviously, leading
and
the
here
way.
is my pure guess: Rogue Squadron, could end up being Poe Dameron's solo film.
It could.
He's been hinting that he would come back if it was the right story. I mean, I think a Disney Plus series would be better, but I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we got something set in that era. Maybe going up again. I don't know if they. It's kind of difficult but he's kind of been open about it and talking about it. I'll be surprised if there's not one project that we don't know about announced from Lucasfilm. There's got to be something, I'd imagine.
It'll be interesting to see, because like when they did the announcement for Rogue Squadron back in the day, Mandy, that was like 2 years ago now. The X-Wings they were using were from the Rebellion era.
Yeah.
And traditionally the Rogue Squadron, it's Luke and Wedge's squadron that gets formed between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And there are a number of very good books in it about it that are no longer in canon. We were just kind of assuming that those were going to be the source material, or at least the inspiration point. I could see it being a Poe movie, but it is actually a good guess, because we do have two seemingly different elements that do make sense together. It could be. It would be different from what was announced, but that would not be the first time something like that has happened, where they've gone, we announced it this way, but a couple of years have passed and it's morphed into this. Either way, whether it's Rogue Squadron or Black Squadron or something like that, I would like to see Poe. He has always been the one guy who's just been like, yeah, I'm in Star Wars. I'm going to continue to be in Star Wars, because the rest of the cast got let's say abused, honestly, by the fandom, and I don't see many of them coming back.
I do think that Daisy could end up coming back at some point. She's doing a film with. I think she just needed. I think they probably got better at knowing what's happening. I think definitely, and I also think like Oscar, he just doesn't. He's not paying any attention, and I think that's the best way to be.
And he's branched out and he's really made a name for himself too.
Yeah.
He was in Moon Knight earlier. He's done a number of other
movies. Dune. He was good in Dune.
He was good in Dune, although I don't think he'll be back for the sequel for various reasons. I could see Kelly Marie Tran also kind of dipping her toes back into it, although in what capacity, I'm not sure. I don't think a Rose movie would do all that well, even though I would like to see it. But
yeah. Also, Skeleton Crew as well. I expect we might see it, because they've been filming that. We could get a little sizzle reel for that. I'm not expecting a huge. I'm expecting updates on projects rather than lots of new announcements for Lucasfilm.
It's interesting to say it, but like Star Wars is not the main focus of a Disney-centric panel, especially at the moment where Star Wars is kind of in that retooling, refocusing phase. Like, Mandalorian's doing fantastic. Bad Batch is doing well. We had that fantastic final 4 episodes of Clone Wars, but we also kind of had the sequel trilogy, which we try not to talk about. And,
it's kind of funny because we're gonna go into Disneyland on Disney Plus Day, and the first thing I want to go and do is Galaxy's Edge, because I've not seen it yet.
Which is fantastic. We will meet up before then. We'll go hit Galaxy's Edge before. I don't. This is the first time we're meeting in person. So we can just kind of drop that one in there too. So we are going. Yeah, we're going to Disneyland on the Thursday, and that'll be fun.
Yes.
Anyway, Star Wars. Not expecting so much.
20th Century Studios. I'm expecting a little bit of some more stuff from Avatar. We don't really know what else is coming out from them. Because they're a bit like all their movies have been going just like I don't know. Maybe they will come out and be like Planet of the Apes. We're doing I don't know what Aliens, or we're doing Die Hard 17, or maybe the Night at the Museum, the animated film. I don't. It's maybe a couple of announcements for some movies coming to Disney Plus that they're working on.
I would not be terribly surprised if they announced plans for the Predator series following the very solid reception of Prey, which I will admit we would have talked about it last week. But I'll throw in here, that was a really good movie. I was not expecting it to be that good, but them taking that, and even if it's too early for them to say yes, it's Prey 2, or it's the Predator during Roman times, where they'll take out the Lost Legion or something like that. No, it's too early to say that, but to say Prey did really well. We have more plans. more details coming soon. I would expect them to at least
just
say
do
something like that.
a Viking Prey. You know,
I would,
you know,
I would do
you know,
it. I would totally watch a Viking Prey. I mentioned the Lost Legion because my friend was talking about it, and we had like a whole spitballing session of how we would do the Predator in like ancient Roman times based on
yeah,
how Prey went, things like that. And there's Prey opened them up to all sorts
yeah.
of opportunities, and they could really do well. So I expect them to mention it, even if it's too far in advance for them to
Yeah.
give
And
firm plans.
and also the big difference as well is that really pretty much from the beginning of 2023, 20th Century Studios films would no longer be going to HBO Max, so they get full control, because that's why Prey basically went to Hulu, was basically along the lines of we're not putting it out for them, so it frees them up a little bit. I'm not there's probably gonna be a lot of announcements and stuff that we're maybe not so aware of, or confirmation of some of the films are on. A little bit more tricky. Let's now talk Marvel.
Well, just
yeah,
real fast, to set expectations, if they're going to announce things at the 20th century section of it, they will be the big franchise ones like we were talking about. Don't expect it. Yeah, you never know. I'm not a fan, but it is a big franchise. But like, don't expect them to talk about the menu, which we were talking about earlier. It's not the big blockbuster movie, and they've only got 2 hours to talk about this stuff. They are not going to be focusing on the everyday. Well, it maybe makes 40 million at the box office. That's chump change to them. Like, you can give me 40 million, I'll be fine. But to them, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's the Avatar stuff is the stuff that their franchise stuff. Let's now talk about Marvel. So I have a feeling that Marvel might get 45 minutes to maybe an hour of the actual whole presentation. I think they're going to be at least half of it.
Let's be blunt. The Marvel is the draw. This is what people are here to see. Star Wars, certainly, 20th century, depending on what they announce, certainly as well. But Marvel is the steamroller right now. It's what people are looking for. And, on the success of recent movies, or not success, depending on which ones you're looking at, people want to know what's coming next. And then we, of course, had the San Diego Comic-Con announcements, and people want to know more details about these upcoming movies and shows.
Right. So in terms of predictions, so I am expecting to see Werewolf by Night. I mean, they're going to keep saying this one. Eventually, at some point, they're going to have to show it off and give us like a trailer and a date and say like it's coming out in like 2 weeks or something like that.
And Guardians.
Yeah. And the holiday special, I'm expecting to see something with regards to that. Those two, I think, are dead on. Probably a little bit of Black Panther as well, to bring the cast out, do something special for that one. Those, I think, are probably easy guess. We'll maybe see something of Ant-Man, something new that they didn't, we didn't see at San Diego Comic-Con because that's not been out there yet. In terms of announcements, maybe the cast of Fantastic Four. I think that could be very high, especially if they're going to be rumored to be in Ant-Man. They're going to have to, get that in. And I wouldn't be at all. Yeah, carry on.
Just really fast, make sure we put the little footnote in there that we are not expecting John Krasinski to be Reed Richards. He was in Doctor Strange, obviously, but he's been very vocal about the fact that his schedule really would not allow him to be in the Fantastic Four movie. So it would be great if they announced that, but don't expect that, and don't be that disappointed if Mr. Fantastic is not John Krasinski.
Yeah, no, I'm not expecting it. I'm also thinking they're going to fill out maybe Phase 6 a little bit more with maybe a couple of movies, Nova, maybe a Mutants, something mutant related. Just trying to think what else we've had, because that was the only thing they've not confirmed, I don't think. Maybe some of the Disney Plus series, give us a bit of maybe a look at Ironheart, maybe. Secret Invasion as well. I suspect we might get a little bit of a tease of that because that's coming up in the spring. Maybe on the schedule they'll put Armor Wars in there, and I'm just trying to think what else they could put in there. Maybe Miss Marvel season 2, or I was
going to say Guardians 3, probably kind of combine that with Guardians and the holiday special. I don't know how much they can show from that, like again, sizzle reel kind of thing, but it honestly, on their schedule, it is one of the most anticipated because both Guardians 1 and 2 are generally highly regarded. And of course, they cameoed in Thor: Love and Thunder. That will be one of the major ones that people want to hear about.
It's always difficult to me as well of like, they don't want to go too far in advance because the special effects aren't ready, and they've still got like 6-8 months of getting stuff ready. So that's always a bit tricky. But it's if I would be I think they're going to fill out what we saw at San Diego Comic-Con. I think there's probably, I don't know if there's another series or two in phase 5. I mean, they might, I don't know if they got time to do it, but maybe Moon Knight season 2 might get announced for phase 6, or the Midnight Suns or something, kind of fill out that era, because we've not really kind of delved much into that era yet. You know, obviously, with Werewolf by Night and Blade are gonna set up a whole other area of the MCU. Maybe She-Hulk season 2.
It depends. I mean, it depends on reaction to the first handful of episodes, which will be out by then, because the first one's coming very soon. But they might be holding the supernatural stuff back for Blade to actually air, or at least closer to Blade airing, because they might want to hold some surprises of who's going to show up in that particular show, and not ruin it by having, oh, we know this character's coming or that character's coming.
Yeah, I was just thinking that maybe Eternals 2 and Shang-Chi 2 could be kind of, the names could be revealed.
I could see that.
Get the logo.
Hey, get the logo. At least confirmation that they're coming. You know.
Yeah,
that's
just fill out phase 6 a little bit with a few things, and just to kind of, you know, they're not, because really then there's not going to be anything now to San Diego next year, and and they only get D23 every 2 years, and it's been 3 years. So they're gonna want to announce some big stuff. Maybe they reveal the team of Thunderbolts, who's in that,
or at least part of the team. Some of the ones that we can. Some of the ones that we know for sure, because we've had a couple of recruitment scenes in some of the previous movies during the end credits, and some of the shows as well.
It would make sense to kind of come out and be like, look, this is what we've got, this is where we're going. But yeah, it's kind of hard with Marvel, because it's like they did not show all their hand at San Diego Comic-Con. They kept some stuff back, but they also revealed a little bit more at San Diego than I was expecting, which they've got to fill in the gaps a little bit. And I think they might as well just get out there. You know, if there's all these, if things are being reported and rumored and all the rest of it, you might as well just get it out there, get the logo, and put a place marker in place. I mean, they've already kind of done so, but I'm not expecting to go much beyond the basically anything past Secret Wars. I'm not expecting anything past Secret Wars. I think they're just gonna fill out phase 6 a little bit. But then what's that? Is phase 6 is 2025?
It's actually it's much closer than we think it is. The phases are going much faster this time than they did.
I think it's like literally 04 to 05. So they're gonna, it's gonna be tricky in terms of how much they announce. But yeah, I'm guessing they're gonna fill out that quite nicely.
Yeah, and they do need to be careful. The whole superhero fatigue thing, they need to be careful. As long as they keep the quality up, that's what I'll always say, is as long as the quality is up, people will continue to go. But, with this many projects, that's not something that you can guarantee. And obviously phase 4 has kind of had mixed reactions throughout. So I'm assuming that that's going to go into their planning as well. But yeah, I think it's mostly going to be what we saw at San Diego, fleshed out just a little bit with additional trailers, teasers, sizzle reels, actors coming on stages. I might expect that they do a quick tribute to Chadwick Boseman as well, especially if they're going to talk about Black Panther 2.
Depends on time, because I think they're going to be cutting it with 3 studios delivering information.
That's the big thing. I was kind of expecting Marvel might get its own entire presentation to itself, but it would be nice if they did, especially with Black Panther right around the corner, and maybe they can address a little bit of what their plans are in regards to why Black Panther's not there.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird how that's all gonna work. So that's the Marvel one, and then later in the afternoon, there's going to be Disney's Epic Entertainment Showcase, the musical, The Extravaganza, which is quite a name.
That's a big.
I gotta be honest, I do love the name. I think that's pretty cool. It certainly beats Studio Showcase. It's certainly a little bit.
It's got High School and the musical, the onstage premise. Yeah, kind of.
Well, it does say in the description. So this one's going on for an hour and 45 minutes, and this one is highlighting the legacy of excellence in storytelling and includes talent, appearances, performances, and never before seen previews of original content for Disney Plus, Disney Channel, and Disney Junior. So this obviously is primarily. I think we're going to see the Santa Clauses. We're going to see probably Mysterious Benedict Society, Mighty Ducks 2 or series, maybe Big Shot, that one there. National Treasure will be in there. We'll probably also have American Born Chinese, that new series. Maybe some clips of, I don't know. I don't even know what shows they've got coming up on Disney Channel. There's a couple of movies and stuff. I don't think the Disney Channel is going to get a huge amount of time. I think it's primarily aimed at the live action Disney Plus stuff is going to be the most important things.
The live action non-branded, so non-Marvel, non-Star Wars, etc. For the Disney Channel side, we might see what the upcoming original movies are going to be. Maybe they'll announce Zombies 4 or something along those lines.
Yeah, so I'm expecting the fact of performances. If there's something High School Musical, Zombies, Descendants.
The Descendants, I was going to say, yeah.
Because they got the Pocket Watch, which they're doing, which is their new movie. But yeah, I think, and High School Musical is still going to be going on, and 4th season is coming. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if there was a bit more kind of to do with this one. And I'm just trying to think they've got quite a few other shows that they're working on. They'll probably announce some new shows, give us a bit. I'm expecting the trailer for Santa Claus and National Treasure to be the two kind of key bits of information. This one might be live streamed. This one's, if out of the free studio ones, this is the one I'm thinking is much more likely to be live streamed.
It's the one that, they can expect maybe a bit of a younger audience would be willing to watch it, which is why the stream would be a thing. If they do stream it and they have trailers, you might expect the trailers to get cut out of the stream version, though.
Yeah. But no, so this one should be good because the Disney Plus side, they really do need to ramp up what they're doing on that from like, I don't think necessarily we're going to see anything. We're not going to see anything Star related or Hulu related here. It is because it's the Disney branded element. So there might be some films and stuff that they're working on, maybe Under Wraps 2. We might see a little, but they just released a trailer for that now. So I don't think that they might.
Well, they might re-show the trailer with extra bits or something like that. But yeah, the point is, don't expect you're going to go in here and you're going to watch, some Mickey Mouse things, and then there will be an American Horror Story in the middle. That's not going to happen. This is not what they're showing.
It's hard. It's that kind of thing as well. From obviously, someone that's used to having all this stuff on Disney Plus, it's like there's this whole section of your company missing. I'm looking forward to seeing like the Hulu thing. I mean, there's even an American Horror Stories makeup thing on there, which I was a bit like, ooh, they're sneaking something in there.
They are.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that people know that those things are out there, and it might suggest that a lot of this content will be making its way over in advance of the ad content. We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, even if they're kind of ignoring that on the presentation side, this is very definitively the Disney panel. This is the Disney television.
And I think it's good that it's getting its own bit of space because it's a different tone. It'll have its own little audience. It'll also be away from the Marvel side. It's by a few hours, by at least like the press side of things with the trailers coming out. I'm looking forward to this. One's the kind of one for me of like, this one could be fun. This one could surprise me. I've got a little bit more of them. Like that one could be maybe the most fun out of the 3 major studios presentations.
Yeah, and depending on if they restrict our ability to sign up for these events, like you can only pick 3 from D23, the main hall to sign up for, and you'll be in the slot for those.
I think it's either one a day. I think it is.
I think it's one a day. In which case, the Marvel one is obviously going to be the one that I'll be trying to sign up for. But if for some reason I was able to sign up for 2 on Saturday, this would be on the list. It's just less important than the other one. It should be fun. And if you are not super excited about the Marvel one and you're going to be at D23 or even just waking up early enough to get to the Marvel one, this will not be a bad one to see. Just wanted to finish off one point you were making, which is that, this is a different targeted audience than say the Marvel or the Fox and so on. Disney has not forgotten where their base is. I think this does get overlooked time to time. And we also will kind of downplay it a bit where people subscribe to Disney Plus, and as adults, we want content for us. We want Deadpool, we want Logan, we want these shows on there. But Disney still is a kids programming thing, and they have not forgotten that Mickey and High School Musical and all of these are a big part of their lineup. So
and I'm not gonna lie. If all the cast of High School Musical come out, I'll be happy because I like the show. Like, yeah,
It would not surprise me, quite
no,
honestly. They want to keep that promo going, and
yeah,
again, I've reiterated on this particular podcast, this is the show for people who love Disney
yeah,
programming. These are the people who are watching High School Musical, the musical, every single week and loving it every single week. And this is going to be catered for them. So if
yeah.
you are loving the Disney branded content on Disney Plus or Disney Channel or Disney Junior, tune in for this one, especially if it's live streamed.
Yeah, and also, I suspect we're going to see Tim Allen will come out and do and for Santa Claus, and we'll probably it's like if they do if Nick Cage is involved in National Treasure, this will be where they reveal it.
I kind of expect they'd leave him as like a last second cameo kind of thing, like but
if they're going to own it,
he'll be on and on. Yeah, if they're going to own it, they're going to own it. I'd be interested if like Martin Short or somebody would show up too, kind of be like, yep, he's reprising his role as Jack Frost from was it Santa Claus 2, I think it was.
I think they're very much kind of. I have a feeling there was an interview with Steve Martin of like. I think they're looking because they're going to do a third season of Only Murders. I feel like they're kind of going, look, this is the best way we could go out doing these at the minute. So I wouldn't be, especially at their age. But yeah, so that's cool. So that's the main presentations. There was also on the Sunday, there's a couple of other ones. We've got the Boundless Future, which is a Disney Parks Experiences and Products one. Not expecting anything Disney Plus related there. So that one's, this one's, that's my park fan going to this one. And in some ways I can relax a little bit because I'm not expecting they might announce. I mean, they could get a Disney Plus series about parks be revealed. There could be something there. Well, if you're going to do it, that's a good place to do it.
And Imagineers season 2 would not go amiss, especially if they kept the quality of the first one.
Or Behind the Attraction, something like that.
Behind the Attractions.
Magic of the Animal Kingdom, that could be revealed as well, even though we know they're filming it. That kind of feels like something they could do at that event.
Yeah. We just want to make sure we are not downplaying this one. It's just not a Disney Plus focused one. This will be a huge panel. The parks.
I was gonna say if we were a Disney Parks blog, this would all we'd be concentrated because this is big. Because this would be a huge. This is all. I mean, all the other big websites and stuff. This is what they're interested in. What theme park, where the new rides. I'm can't wait. This one's like my Sunday morning is like it's kind of like I don't need to concentrate the same because it's not for the website. So because this is the one panel I can kind of just go. I can be a fan of Disney and not have to.
Yeah, you get to go as a fan. You're not reporting on this one unless they announce one of the things we did. Just pointing out, we're not downplaying it. It's just not our focus because this is Disney Plus, not Disney Parks. This is actually probably going to be like the second most popular panel at the entire D23 with Marvel being the number one.
Yeah, all the park fans they'll want to see this one. So I'm looking forward to that. And then in the afternoon, there's a Disney Princess concert featuring special performances. They're actually going to be taking this show out on the road. They're going to be taking this out on a tour around the US. Top end Broadway show production. So that again, this is I like seeing Disney. I've been to see Aladdin and the cruise line. I love seeing the theatrical. When they see it on the big stage. So I'm a bit like I'm just going to go and enjoy this one. The fact now that I know that there's not really any shows against it, and then I'm going to run from there over to the. I'm going to try and get into the Dancing with the Stars. That's my evening. That's to finish off.
This one will depend a little on if they get any of the original singers to sing them for this. I know the Roadshow won't. It'll have modern talent singing them. But if they can get some of the original singers, especially from the area that we grew up in, that it'll definitely be worth seeing. And I will always sing the praise. Went to the Alan Menken concert back in 2019. He did it twice. He actually did it on two different shows. It was literally walk-in. I didn't have to. You just walked in, grabbed a seat, and sat down, even though it was in the main hall. It was fantastic. It was him talking about how he wrote things, why he wrote things, and then performing songs. And he even talked about things like, we did Home on the Range. It didn't really do that great, but it was our way of expressing our feelings for 9/11, which was very recent at the time. And I was like, I would never have connected Home on the Range to 9/11, but apparently he used that as one of his outlets for getting a lot of the emotion into the songs for that. And it's okay. I still
have never seen that one.
If I saw it, I don't remember it anymore, honestly.
No, it's kind of funny. Yeah.
But I've heard a song from it because he performed it.
Yeah, it's I think that one's definitely going to be like probably the least. I don't know if it's going to be the least. That'll be probably the easiest one if you were to select it to probably get in, because I feel like, as you said, a lot less people are going to be interested in that one.
I'm, as interested as I am in the parks one, I might just toss this one on because, yeah, I'm expecting, if I'm very lucky, I will get one of the good panels,
Yeah.
and I like, I'll throw this on.
My thing, I'll be honest, if one of the other Disney Plus panels were up against this one, I had actually, it was going to be, I probably was, like, if they put Santa Claus or something up against it, I probably would have done it, because it'd be like, well, but because there's not, I'm going to go into that one. And also, I have also stated as well, and this is kind of, it's always bad about this concert of, like, for me, if I feel like I've not seen enough of the show floor, that's when I'm going to be doing it on the Sunday afternoon. And now that one's like the one out of all of them that's like my least priority to go to. And it's bad to say, but it's a bit like, it's just only so much time.
No, there's only so much time, and I figure it's more of a, like, it's the end of the weekend. I'm really tired. I just need to get off my feet. This is a fun way of doing it. I like these songs. Might as well go to that. But like, if you haven't had a chance to go to the merchandise booths or the vendors, particularly the independent vendors. So, like, just like most cons, there's a section where just regular people come in, and this is where you can get old memorabilia that's no longer available. A lot of times, if you get to the end of the hall or the end of the weekend, some of them are just like, I don't want to haul this back. Pitch me a deal, and if it's not too insane, maybe we can work something out. And this is when you can start to get those kind of things.
It's kind of funny. Like, for me personally, Sunday is a little bit more of the light. It's going to be the lighter day, because all the news stuff that, because obviously what's going to happen is, after those big panels, I'm going to be nipping off to a corner or some desk I can find to report on it. So I'm going to be taking a bit of time out after each presentation to do that. I'm going to be recording. Plan is to record all the booths, all the areas of the Disney Plus. I'm going to basically be I've got a list of stuff to record while I'm there, and that'll be spread out then over the week afterwards, because I'll be trying to get as much up online. It's going to be a full week for me, because I'm, like I said, I am planning on giving all of you guys as much content as I possibly can throw at you. I will say Monday I'm going to Disneyland California Adventure and trying to have a little bit of a break. I'm kind of like that might be the day where I'm like, there's not going to be as much on the site today, because I'm having a bit of some time out.
And that's your first time at California Adventure, is it not?
Yeah, well, I've been to Disneyland twice before, but both times when I went, it was like 2005, and at the time DCA was apparently appalling. And obviously, the first time I went, I'm going to Disneyland, and the second time, everyone I was with wanted to go to Disneyland for the first time, and I was like, well, you like, everyone online was like, DCA's got nothing in it, and like, well, I might as well go. So I've never been to DCA, so for me, I'm more interested. That's why I picked that one second day, where I can just relax and go around the park a little bit. The day in Disneyland is going to be a little bit tricky, because it depends what's happening with Disney Plus Day, because I'm not going to lie, I was rather annoyed when they moved Disney Plus Day to the day before, because that was, we'd planned on going to Disney Plus to go to Disneyland, and they go, I'm like, shit, there we go. It's just like
beep.
And that was literally my first reaction. Was like, I really wanted a day then, just to have like at least like half it. So like, I mean, it depends if there's any presentation. I'm gonna have to go down, I suspect, down to the convention center anyway on the Thursday, and I know there's going to be some stuff happening down there by the sounds of it, with what they've said about like picking up your Disney Plus passes. But so it's going to be interesting to see and I want to go have a look, see what all the Disney Plus, if there's any activations around downtown Disney and in Disneyland. So that's actually kind of, for me now, for Disneyland Day, for Disney Plus, it's like, hit Galaxy's Edge, see what the Disney Plus stuff's going on, have a few hours, hit up a few rides, and I'm also going to be jet lagged. So it's just like, it's like I'm in some ways I feel like I'm being quite sensible, and like being like, I am not having a full park day, and I know I'm not, so I'm not actually. I can always park hop on Monday if I need to, but I don't need to go on It's a Small World again. I've been on it 150 times in every country. It's like, if I don't do it, it's not the end of the world for this. Right. But I want to do Galaxy's Edge. I want to do both rides at Galaxy's Edge, because I've not. That's like, because everything, it's like I was thinking about it with like Disneyland, of like pretty much everything else is available in Paris or Florida. So I'm kind of focusing on the ones that are only in Disneyland.
Right, and that's normally the way I do it too. But I will also be going to Disney on some of the other days because I don't have to write articles for the webpage, so I can kind of duck out during slow periods. That said, the tickets were completely sold out on Saturday, so I'm not going to the park on Saturday. Yeah, they're gone. They're gone.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to like I said, we're going to have to get in our reservations. So we'll find out the reservations on the 2nd of September. So it's not that far away. I mean, literally, I fly out in like 3 weeks in like 2 days. So it's like I've literally got piles of stuff, like equipment and stuff that I've been buying, battery packs, and like got my my lanyard. It's all starting to, I've got to start, I've got to order some dollars and stuff. It's getting close now.
Yeah. So for anybody who is going to D23, pack accordingly. Don't expect you'll have access to a power outlet at the hall. They have them, but obviously they are prime real estate and people grab them up immediately. So bring battery pack.
I've even brought like a second battery for my main camera. It's things like that just to kind of where I obviously trying to film as much, but it's going to be all of us as well. If you see us out at D23, say hello. If you recognize us, because we won't recognize you. No. That's always is a thing of yes. So if you see us, say hello. We're definitely quite happy to say hello to everyone. So it's going to be a bit weird.
It
is. I would say a few weeks ago, I was out shopping with my family and someone spotted me and said hello, and I've got to be honest, it was the most humbling thing I'd ever had. My parents were so excited. It was just like, it was so weird, but yeah, it made my day. It was great. So if you do see us, feel free to say hello. It's gonna be interesting. It's getting closer now, and we are only a few weeks away. It's that kind of thing of like, now I'm like, right, I've got to order some dollars, sort that out, start getting together the bags and stuff. It is not that far, and I'm already starting to pre-prep some. We've prepped some bits and pieces and stuff, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And the schedule now we've got a schedule. I feel like, okay, like for me, I'm like, okay, I know I'm not doing that many panels now. I'm just doing the main ones, and I'm going to be going and doing some articles and then just doing all the floor stuff. And it has actually made the schedule being released has actually freed me up a little bit more than I was expecting, which actually I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to pick, you can pick ones, but you've also got park ones and stuff that you want to go see as well.
And this is
a lot of panels.
And this is my third D23. I don't feel the need to stay at the hall the entire time. I've already got some other friends will be like, yeah, I'm going to be in town. You're in LA. Pop on down. Let's have lunch or something on Saturday or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, my plan literally is like, I'm gonna, because it's like, go to the parks. It's like, no, I need to go back and work. This is the kind of, that's my plan. So keep on with social media. Definitely follow. Like Twitter is going to be the best way of following. The plan is to put some videos up. When we aren't going to have a traditional podcast that week, and we are going to try and record something over the weekend with us together, which will be kind of interesting. It might be a podcast, but it's going to be a little bit different to how we normally would do it, because obviously we can do it, and we'll be updating and stuff, and there'll be loads of stuff. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. I can't say what the schedule's like because I don't know what the Wi-Fi's like.
Yeah. And also you can probably expect there'll be a lot of B-roll footage being filmed on that. And so I might end up in some B-roll footage just by accident.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm having waited. I mean, like, we've been covering, we've been doing podcasts together for like 7 years now. And we've been covering, this is our this is our fourth D23 covering together. And it's like, and that was it, 17, yes, it's
17, 19, and then there wasn't one.
Well, also because 2015 obviously was the big Disney Infinity one. I mean, that was the big
right. But I was not there for that one.
No. But I was covering that, and we had like a couple of other ones like Travis and Abe, used to help out on this, and then even before that, the 2013 one, when I used to do like Disney Vinylmation stuff, all these figures over here, we used to cover all of the stuff coming out of this. So for me, it's like, I've been following D23 for so long that I and I've never been able to go because of work commitments. And like this time was like, I can go, I can actually go, and it's really, yeah.
This is your work commitment.
Yeah, and it is that kind of thing. Like my wife was sat there the other day. She goes, you're going out to. It's like, well, and then it's like you're going for the list because no, you're gonna hate it because it's like, yeah, she's like, she loves Disney movies and stuff, but the idea of standing in line to see people doing presentation was not what quite her plan. It's gonna be a bit weird, but yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, so that was like I said. So that's like our D23 kind of predictions and rambles. We'll obviously be talking a lot about D23 after the event and when it's all going on. Next week we will be talking. I'll be talking about She-Hulk. That'll be one we'll be talking about. And I'm trying to think what else is out next week. I think mainly it's just She-Hulk. That's the big new release.
I mean, yeah, it's not exactly a small release in many different senses of the word. So
no. On that note, guys, thank you very much, and we shall see you soon. Later. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.